Hello and welcome to Match of the Day Top 10. Languishing at the bottom, staring into the abyss, and with all hope seemingly gone. Now, I'm not talking about my usual guest lineup with Micah Richards and Alan Shearer. We're talking about the teams who've pulled off the great escape and ensured Premier League survival. Sides who, against all the odds, heroically stayed up after being written off by fans and probably media, people like our good selves. I suppose, Alan, this leads us straight into your brief spell as a manager at Newcastle, where you sadly didn't pull off a great escape.
Well, you didn't have to start with that, but as you're going to, I know one thing: it's a damn sight easier playing at the top of the league than it is down at the bottom. But the pressure for you, because people's lively, that's your responsibility.
So would you like to apologise now?
Yeah, again, it was probably all my fault. So it's horrific. I mean, going into that would have been if we had a decent manager. Yeah. Again, it's horrible. It's horrible.
What's the team talk like when you go into that final game?
Yeah, not very good, obviously.
You cross them in and you head them out. Was that worked out together, that one, was it? You pair of
Oh, that's exactly what they were singing about you when you went down. Come on, Al.
I can't remember what it was.
It's best to have a bit of fun about these things, but at the time it must have been horrible.
It was
painful.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you just don't want to let anyone down. That's the problem. I mean, what was that? I was the fourth manager that season, so there was obviously huge problems in the football club, and I was the last spin of the dice.
Do you regret taking it? No,
not at all.
Would you have done anything differently in hindsight?
In hindsight, would I have done anything differently? Possibly, yeah. I would have possibly let several things go. I would have probably let the players still run the club, even though it was.
What do you mean?
Well, there was so many things that had gone. Players were late. Players really didn't give. A lot of players were perhaps not interested in the football club as much as they should have been. So I tried to change that in the small time I was there. I perhaps should have just gone in there, tried to guide us through the season, have a laugh, have a joke, make everything, try and lift spirits up, then try and change in the summer.
It's hard, though, isn't it, when you've got no experience whatsoever going in, because it's not just because you're good at football and everything doesn't mean to say you're going to know exactly what to do when you go in there.
There was a lot of brilliant people at the football club, including some in the dressing room. But they were in the position. I got the job because of the position that we're in. 3 previous managers had been biffed off before I got there, so that tells us what the situation it was going to be. But I loved the intensity. I loved making decisions. Some were right, some were wrong. But I loved it. Was a brilliant 8 weeks, despite what happened at the end of it.
Yeah. Anyway, that leads us to Great Escapes. We've got. Let me read them out. Firstly, a lot of these, it's quite hard to remember because you tend to remember the people who win things, not necessarily who just escape relegation. So it's a little bit of an unusual one. We've got 1994 Everton, 2000 Bradford City, 2005 West Bromwich Albion, Portsmouth in 2006, the following year West Ham, Fulham's escape in 2008, which I think Danny Murphy's mentioned occasionally. 2012 was Wigan. 2015 Leicester. I'm not sure that led to much. 2016 Sunderland and Aston Villa last season, of course. Do you want to go first, Mikey? You're 10 to 6 in order of, I don't know how you judge these, I suppose the greatest of escapes, we'll call it.
OK, at number 10, I've gone for Bradford City. Fulham at number 9. We have Sunderland at number 8. Wigan at number 7. Everton number 6.
Okay. Give me your 10 to 6 as well, let's do it this way.
10 was West Brom. 9 was Bradford. 8 was Portsmouth. 7 was Fulham. And 6 was Wigan, 2012.
Bradford, you've got them in 10, Alan 9, so let's start with them.
And the final whistle is blown.
was 2000, way back when. They won 4 and drew 1, and then they had to play against Liverpool, who were chasing a Champions League spot.
So poor all season.
Yeah.
To win 4 and draw 1 of your last 5, is it teams that have the season's finished, nothing to play for, stepped off the gas a bit? 6 points from safety, were 5 games to go? So to win 4 and draw 1 of the last 5 is unbelievable.
You've got 10 West Brom. That was an amazing escape.
In the Barclays Premiership.
Gary Megson was the manager for some of the season, and then Brian Robson came in.
We had Robbo with England, with Terry Venables.
He was part of the team, wasn't he?
He was assistant manager. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
And he was the go-between for the lads to the manager. He knew how it operated, knew what the lads were up to, what they wanted to do, what they didn't want to do.
What were the lads up to, Al?
Well, he was part of that thing in Hong Kong. He was out drinking with the lads but the lads, I mean, he could do nothing but respect him because of who he was and what he was. He was unbelievable.
Dynamic.
So he was great. He was the great link. So he had an up and down career as manager. But what you knew with him is, if it didn't work, then it wasn't going to be for the one to try.
Powerful, competitive player, unbelievable. Both and box-to-box player, score your goals. He wasn't a huge bloke, but he was incredibly aggressive and a brilliant footballer as well. I was at Leicester and we played them in. It was a midweek evening game. Might have been one of the cup competitions. Played them at Old Trafford, and whenever we defended corners, I always used to stay up. And in the team meeting, Gordon Milne said, pointing out the marking, the corners and all that, and he went, "Gary, I want you to come back and on the edge of the box and mark Brian Robson." I went, "Sorry?" He said, "Yeah, mark Brian Robson." I went, "Me?" I said, "That's not really my... Robbo's brilliant. He'll just destroy him." He went, "No, we've had him watch." He said he just sits on the edge of the box, and sometimes if the ball gets knocked out, because he can strike it, all you've got to do is sit on the edge of the box. And I thought, all right. And through this, first half, about 8 minutes in, there's a corner. So I go trundling back. There is, as they said, Robbo on the edge of the box, and I'm stood next to him, and he's gone, give it a double take. So he's gone, "What are you doing here?" I went, "Marking you." And he went,
He just laughed at you.
I went, "I know." Corner comes in. Did he stay on the edge of the box? Did he help? Into the thing, smash me, bang, boom, heads it just over the bar.
No way.
15 minutes later, the next corner, back I come again. Ball gets in, boom, rises up, boom, heads it in, goal, 1-0. Another corner, hits the bar.
You're a stinker.
So, just unbelievable. So, I went in at half time, and he's gone, "Gary, stay up for corners." Stay up, true story. And when he was just laughing at me when he scored. Brilliant, though, it's funny. I mean, he must have thought it was all his Christmases had come. You both got Fulham in that 10-6, Micah 9, Alan, you got them in at 7. That was Roy Hodgson, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Roy. He would have had to have worked on all his experience, or gained of all his experience on that occasion, and he did have some, and has got some.
Brought into the club to keep them up. He's done his job. So have his players.
I think he took over from Laurie Sanchez. He was obviously one of the crazy gang at Wimbledon. Roy came in and turned things round.
Well, often when teams are in the mire, they look to someone who's been there, done it, seen it all. We've seen it with Sam Allardyce, who I'm sure we'll get a mention later on. But Roy's in that category where he's been around for so long that if you need someone to lean on, then Roy would be that bloke.
I had a different experience of Roy. You know, when we was going to the Euros in 2012, you know, we have a laugh and joke, but it was actually my best season in a Manchester City shirt. He was England manager, wasn't he? And he got, you know, it always hurts me. It hurts me because he got Stuart Pearce to ring me and tell me he's leaving me out the squad. You know, we talk about highs and lows. Just won the Premier League, highest ever. You know, brilliant. And then you think you go into the Euros, and then the manager can't even ring you. So I lost a lot of respect for him. If he was honest, if I didn't like the way you're playing, or you're going to go with a different option, you can totally accept that. But He didn't pick me, and I've never really respected him after that, just for that one moment.
Have you seen him?
Not seen him since. No, not seen him since.
That was always one of the bizarre things about those big competitions, wasn't it? When they have that thing where, when they name the squad, it's always the players that don't make the squad that become the story for a few days. But it's obviously for managers telling players. Wasn't the thing with Gascoigne trash? Glenn
Hoddles, yeah. Because Glenn had us sort of going in.
But as you say, at least you did it face to face.
On your own, queuing up to go and see him to find out whether you're in the squad or not. Yeah. That's when Gaza smashed the room up when he told him he wasn't in the squad.
And Righty was next to him when he said everything was all over the place. I wonder what Stuart Pearce thought when Roy said to him,
but you know what? I thought he was ringing me to tell me that I'm in the squad. Yeah. So, you know, I've done the accent before. Micah. I'm sorry, Sam. Roy's not taking you. So I thought he was having a bit of banter at first. Because I'm thinking, like, well,
you laugh?
Yeah, I did laugh. I was like, of course he did. And he goes, no, I'm being serious. But in that same conversation, it was the Olympics, wasn't it? So I didn't get to go.
And he was
the manager.
Oh, so he's
but
yeah,
I'm going to be taking. If you're interested, I'm going to need to know by X, Y. So it's kind of, again, I was high winning the Premier League, not going to Euros, but I was high again going to Olympics.
Right. What else we got here? Wigan. That was the season before, actually, went on to win the FA Cup when they did get relegated. FA Cup. Unbelievable.
It was crazy because I think their top scorer, Santo, only had 7 league goals, and he was there.
Probably why they were down the bottom.
Exactly, yeah. But you think about it, some might say he overthinks things at times, but
we've got Portsmouth in there for you, Alan. You've obviously got them higher, Mike, because they're not in your 10 to 6. Alan Perrin was the manager at the start of the season, but and Harry came in.
Is that the goal that keeps Portsmouth in the Premiership?
If you need a job doing, Harry's the man, isn't he?
Harry Redknapp.
You speak to all the players who have worked underneath him, they all tell you different stories about him, how good he was. He was the guy for the man management and looking at players and how to get the best out of them, how to treat them. He was one of the lads, wasn't he?
You just want to play for him, wouldn't you? He's just one of them managers.
Yeah, he's fun, isn't he? He's fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think he can probably lose his temper, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine that. That's probably why he had Joe Jordan alongside him.
Matthew Taylor will take the penalty that may ultimately keep Portsmouth in the Premiership.
With 10 games left, there were 8 points off 4th bottom. So that's an unbelievable
turnaround. Hell of a turnaround, isn't it? Did you ever get relegated?
Yeah, I got relegated.
Where?
Villa. It was tough.
Of course, at the end of the...
It was stroke vice captain. It was me and Gary at Brom Lahore, and started so well. Tim Sherwood got sacked. Then I brought in Remy Gard. Oh my word! He was, and I never put away managers because it's not. I don't feel you need to, but
you're about to.
He brought absolutely nothing. He was the worst manager I've ever come across, and his sessions were ridiculous. He didn't know how to.
What were they like?
He was just like, we had a session where don't stop the ball when you're taking a touch. So we're all professional footballers. I don't know, I was 27, 28 at that time, and he's trying to tell me how to control the football. Like
you were at the bottom of the league.
I know, yeah, but we needed more than that. Teach us how to score a goal. Couldn't score a goal. They couldn't defend. They couldn't do anything. We was terrible. And I was shambolic in that season. I had 4 good months at Villa, the first time under Shearer. After that, I was awful.
Let's go into your top 5. Alan?
Leicester 5.
Oh, only 5?
Sunderland 4. West Ham 3. Villa 2. And Everton 1.
Everton 1?
Yeah.
OK, Micah?
I've got Portsmouth 5. Villa 4. West Brom 3, West Ham 2, and Leicester number 1.
Good lad. Such a creep. Villa. Villa, we've just talked about them when they didn't escape.
And the...
Improved massively as well, I think,
Yes,
over the last couple of years, hasn't it? Comparisons with Gaza?
I can see why. There's a similarity in the sense that they can both beat 3 or 4.
And now, would that's what happens when you get relegated, isn't it? Your best players ultimately will have to leave, so he may not have been at Villa. I mean, the
Do you think he'll be at Villa next season?
He loves Aston Villa. Yeah. He loves them.
It's a similar situation in sort of to Harry Kane, isn't it? Comes a point where if you want to be recognised as being an absolutely top player, it's hard on, Villa have made progress as well. Tottenham are on the periphery of things, but your clock's ticking in your career, and it's difficult when you're leaving your club. I had it at Leicester. I had to do exactly that. It's hard to make that decision because you made it the other way around, Alan, when you're going back to Newcastle. But I'd been there since I was a kid, but it comes a point where ambition takes over, I suppose, and that Grealish and Kane will have that to come. Yeah,
I think it's difficult for Grealish because he's not one of them. He's not like me who supported Arsenal. But he's not. Yeah. He loves Villa. He lives for the. And he's had the shirts from.
Yeah, I know. And also, you should never underestimate that because there's always the criticism about players or the money or the finance or whatever. I mean,
starting to see.
But you said he's definitely signing for City, didn't you?
Well. No. Where'd you get that from, Alan?
Right, you got some inside information?
No, there's no inside information here, but...
It's the first time ever that the Matchday Top 10 podcast comes out with a scoop.
No, I just feel he's got players who are not as good as him or as talented as him playing in the Champions League. And on them if you ever watch his Instagram, he's always got Champions League nights on and all that. He's going to want to be a part of that at some stage. It's just timing of
when
that.
And where.
The only thing in his favour is Villa can pay money. They've got owners and he won't be losing out on money.
A fortune, hasn't it, the last couple of years?
Exactly that. So
it's not nowadays a situation where you do it for money, is it? Because it can be to some, but they earn so much anyway. That it's not the most important thing. The most important thing for footballers is winning things. Well, that's what you and the glory, isn't it?
Well, you perhaps argue against that with look at Harry Kane. Now you mentioned him earlier about that and Tottenham.
If he moves that, it wouldn't be for money, would it?
No, it's not going to be for money. But he'll also think that he might want to break Jimmy Greaves' record. I mean, you might want to have a statue outside that ground at Tottenham, and that might mean...
Bet you hope he moves abroad, don't you?
I'm going to lobby for him to go to Madrid or PSG or somewhere like that. I think he should. Don't you think he should go abroad? Did you notice I never mentioned the record, the Premier League record, then, just because I knew what was coming back?
How many does he need to get your record?
You just have mentioned
How many does he want?
How many does he need?
98.
Roughly.
He's 28 in July. Or June.
Very good.
Oh, brilliant.
Where were we?
Sunderland. Alan, you've got them in your top 5. I suppose that's because it's...
I was going to put them last because on that season they survived. Newcastle went down, unfortunately, but if in doubt, call Big Sam. He'll get... Well, yeah, maybe not this season with
he worked wonders, didn't he, in the January transfer window?
That's been a big part of it, hasn't it? Is bringing unknown players in and them doing a job for him. And one defeat, I think, in the last 11 games he had that season. And he was magnificent at doing that and getting the dressing room, galvanising the dressing room, getting them together and bringing 2 or 3 players in the window. Yeah, they don't like each other. I suppose not many do. I mean,
so them escaping would have made it exacerbated the situation.
It was a tough one to take, I'm pretty sure Sam would have enjoyed it with him being at Newcastle also. So it hurts. I mean, the rivalry is. I'm reluctant to say hatred because I've been to we've all been to the Celtic Rangers games. I mean, that is.
Have you ever been to one of those?
Just once.
Something else.
Yeah, it is crazy. Absolute.
So I wouldn't particularly go that far, but it's not a nice not a nice feeling. Great games to play in.
Yeah. Everton trailing by 2-0 and managed to turn it round against Wimbledon.
Yeah, I remember Barry Horn scoring in that game as well. I was at
fabulous goal, wasn't it?
I was at Southampton with Barry, and he was a great lad, very bright, clever. Gave everything he had.
It was also Howard Kendall's kind of the end of him at Everton because he left and Mike Walker took over, didn't he?
The great Howard Kendall.
Yeah, he really was. Obviously, I played with him for him, I should say, one season, and I was just a great guy.
The lads like him.
What was great about him?
I mean, he was just an engaging personality. He's one of those that get you to run through a brick wall. Tactically, he knew the game, understood it really well. But it was the togetherness that he managed to get. You know, he's one of those that if you're having a bit of a patch or something, he'd take all the players to his favourite Chinese restaurant for a lunch that would go on all night. Stuff like that. He was almost as close as you'll ever get to a manager that just wanted to be kind of one of the lads, and he loved it.
And the way they came back, because they were 2-0 down, and then I think Graham Stewart scored a penalty.
Have saved themselves.
I think actually the Everton fans were relying on a certain Alan Shearer that day, because you were playing against Ipswich, and you could have helped them out. They didn't need you in the end, Alan, but you'd badly let them down anyway because it was goalless, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't get any crosses in that day. I remember it. Don't blame me. It took a point.
Yeah.
They survived, so everyone went home happy.
All's well that ends well.
West Ham United are safe. 7 wins in 9 games. West Ham United have performed an extraordinary feat under Alan Curbishley.
West Ham.
West Ham.
That was 2007, wasn't it? And
yes. Score that goal, wasn't it? Man United. Yes, I remember that day.
Carlos Tevez for West Ham. Very probably his last ever game for West Ham United. What a last ever contribution that could be.
Shenanigans of Tevez and Mascherano. We talked about that. Yeah.
Shocks.
Yeah, there was court cases after that as well, wasn't there, from Sheffield United?
Yeah.
The role that Tevez played, and the third-party ownership, which was not allowed, etc.
Alan Pardew started the season, then Alan Curbishley came in to do the job, who did a brilliant job at Charlton, didn't he, Curbishley?
Well, we talk about form. 7 of the last 9 they won.
Yeah.
You're in a relegation battle, and then you come and produce results like that when the rest of the season's been pretty poor.
Yeah.
And then to win 7 of 9 to stay up, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. Which brings me to Leicester, who I think also won 7 of their last 9 games. They were almost certain to go down. And then the following season won a title, which...
How do you work that out?
How did
you
that
work
happen?
that out?
It's impossible. That's the whole thing about the Leicester story. Was suddenly they were useless and then suddenly brilliant. Is that why you've got them number 1 there? Because what they went on to do, Micah?
They were the bottom with 10 games to go, wasn't they? Team spirit must have been pumping. And they fully deserved that. If you go on that sort of run, and then it's not stop there, go and win the Premier League.
Leicester City are running riot.
Why only 5th, Alan? If you got Everton, I suppose Everton came from 2 down to survive, but that Leicester...
Yeah, it's mad. Months later. We've talked about what players and they go through and the pressure, etc. And 1 year you're actually battling relegation, and next you've come back to win the Premier League.
Mad.
Mad, yeah.
It certainly was mad. And the weird thing is, despite all that, there's a change of manager in the summer.
Yeah.
And Ranieri. Beautiful story, the Ranieri story. But that's for another day, probably, the actual title campaign. So that's kind of our tumultuous journey through the greatest escapes in Premier League history ends. And all we need to do really is come up with a number 1. And because you've got different final answers, I get to decide. So it's quite easy. I'm with you, Micah.
Yes.
Oh, where you going?
Not for the first time you've agreed with me.
It's got to be Leicester in top spot, hasn't it? Who else could it be?
Who else
could it be? I think you've both just about done enough to stay up and stay in for the rest of the season on our Top 10 podcast. As always, if you want your view, just use the hashtag MOTD Top 10. Cheers. Thanks for listening. Or watching.